Hey guys, it's Ryan with AIinsidertips.com. In this video, I'm going to be covering the release of Claude 3, which is now the most updated version of the large language model called Claude. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Claude, this is an LLM developed by a company called Anthropic. They've received billions of dollars in investments from Google, Amazon, and other big tech companies, and have now become a serious competitor to ChatGPT, to Google Gemini, and they are heading towards the top of that LLM benchmark, in my opinion. So here is the official press release of the Claude 3 announcement on Anthropic's website, and I will leave a link to this and everything else that I mentioned in the video description below. But guys, the purpose of me making this video is to go over what I believe are the most important details of Claude 3, and I'm also going to compare Claude 3 to ChatGPT in real time, just provide a few examples so we can see if what they say is actually true. So here is Claude 3. Now, I first saw this on Twitter the other day. I follow Anthropic's Twitter account, and they said, today we're announcing Claude 3, our next generation of AI models. The three state-of-the-art models, Claude 3 Opus, Claude 3 Sonnet, and Claude 3 Haiku, set new industry benchmarks across reasoning, math, coding, multilingual understanding, and vision. So right away, it looks like there's three brand new language models involved with Claude 3. There's Opus, there's Sonnet, and there's Haiku. So if you go over to Claude, this is what the Claude interface now looks like. It's a different interface. The free version is the Claude Sonnet. So it says you are using Claude 3 Sonnet, our second most intelligent model, for free. To try Opus, our most intelligent model, upgrade to Claude Pro. So if you upgrade to Claude Pro, I believe this is $20 a month. It says Claude Pro is $20 a month plus tax. Level up your Claude usage, priority access, switch between different versions, early access to new features. So similar to that ChatGPT Plus pricing model, it seems. Claude Pro, which includes that Opus model now, will cost $20 per month. So I'm actually going to do some thorough testing, and I might make a different video while I'm doing that, as now I need to figure out, okay, is that $20 a month for GPT-4 worth it, or should I spend that $20 now for Claude 3 Opus? So that's really what I'm looking for in this new updated version of Claude. So Anthropic goes back in here and they say Opus and Sonnet are accessible in our API, which is now generally available, enabling developers to start using these models immediately. Sonnet is the free version. Opus is the Claude Pro subscribers. So then they go on to just talk about all these more details here. And here's a Haiku. So Haiku is the fastest and most cost-effective model on the market for its intelligence category. Sonnet is 2 times faster than Claude 2 and Claude 2.1, while Opus is about the same speed as past models. So then they have all sorts of other details here, but I'm going to show you their blog post. This breaks it down in a lot easier format, in my opinion. So again, here's the Claude 3 model family. We have Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. Now remember, Sonnet is that free version. Opus is that paid version for $20 a month. So on the left here, we have intelligence, and on the bottom, we have cost, price per million tokens. So Opus is up there in that cost, but also is the highest in intelligence. Looks like Sonnet is in the middle here. So I'm very curious to see how this all compares to GPT-4, Gemini 1.5, and all these new models that are continuing to come out left and right, it seems. So now here are some of the benchmarks where they're comparing the Claude 3 models to the existing popular language models available. So here you have all three versions of Claude, Opus, Sonnet, Haiku, and here's GPT-4, GPT 3.5, Gemini 1 Ultra, Gemini 1.0 Pro. And on the left-hand side, we have all the different benchmarks. We have undergraduate level knowledge, graduate level reasoning, grade school math, problem solving, multilingual math, code, reasoning, knowledge Q&A, common knowledge. And here are the different benchmarks. Now, before I go through this, you always have to keep in the back of your head that this is on Anthropic's website. So always take this with a grain of salt. Same with Google, same with OpenAI when they release these sort of benchmarks. They're obviously going to say that their model is better than the competition. So you always have to keep that in the back of your head. And also, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with this testing data. So again, just take this with a grain of salt. But regardless, it seems very promising. So here is the Opus model. This is the most advanced model now of Claude 3. As you'll see here, it is scoring higher than all of the existing language models. So Undergraduate level knowledge scored an 86.8%. That's higher than all the different models here currently available. The other ones that I think are important here too is like math problem solving, code, if you're involved in the coding world and are a developer. According to the code, it scored an 84.9%, which is by far more than all the other existing models. Reasoning's a big one too, 83%, better than all the existing models. Mixed evaluations, again, wins. Knowledge Q&A, 96.4%, better than the existing models available as well. Same with common knowledge, 95.4%. What's interesting is when you look at GPT-4, this has a 95.3% and a 96.3%. So interesting how it's 0.1% lower than what Anthropic is claiming the Claude 3 Opus model can produce. So I don't know if it's just that close. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. Again, just really interesting to see this benchmark and how high these new Claude 3 models are scoring compared to everyone else. So here's another important category to call out is the pricing to use the API keys. So Claude 3 Opus currently costs $15 for input per million tokens and $75 per million tokens for output on a 200K context window. Now the free version, Claude 3 Sonnet, costs only $3 per million tokens for input and $15 per million tokens on the output side, and still that 200K context window. Claude 3 Haiku, which is the fastest and most compact model for near instant responsiveness, costs only 25 cents per million token input and $1.25 per million token output. So right away, Claude 3 Haiku kind of reminds me of GPT 3.5. It's extremely fast, it's extremely inexpensive, but the knowledge base isn't there. So if I scroll up, there's a lot of details here that go into the pricing, but the best way to explain this is to compare it to what's currently available to GPT-4. So looking at OpenAI's website, GPT-4 Turbo, it looks like it's $10 per million tokens input and $30 per million tokens output. That's GPT-4 Turbo. Now, GPT-4 is $30 per million tokens input and $60 per million tokens output. And you can get the 32K, and that's even more expensive down here as well. So just looking at this right away, it looks like GPT-4 is more expensive to use for the API key, but GPT-4 Turbo is less expensive than Claude 3 Opus. So very interesting to look at the pricing, and that's always what you should do when you're looking at API key pricing, is always compare it to what's currently available. So what does OpenAI's API key pricing look like for the GPT language models? And now what does Claude 3's models look like for that API pricing? So it's always important to compare to OpenAI. So I'm scrolling through here, and again, model availability. Again, Opus and Sonnet are available to use today in our API, which is now generally available. So it looks like Haiku will be available soon. So that's important to call out there, is that you cannot access the Haiku model right now, according to this article. So now, guys, I'm going to actually dive into Claude, and let's compare this to ChatGPT. As I go back to the home screen, let's compare this to GPT-4 on just a couple simple prompts and see what happens. Again, I am on the free version of Claude 3, which is that Sonnet model. I will eventually purchase Claude 3 Opus as just not only for future video purposes, but also for personal use and business use as well, as I'm very curious to see how this compares. So one of the first things I want to do is test recency. Now, I do not believe it's recent, so I just want to double check on this. I want to say, what is the current price of Bitcoin? And then if I enter it in, it looks like it's going to come back. Oh, I misspelled it here, but it says, unfortunately, I do not have up-to-date information on the current price of Bitcoin since my knowledge base only goes up to August 2023. Now, if I ask ChatGPT-4 the exact same question, it says the current price of Bitcoin is approximately $61,822. Now, Bitcoin does fluctuate a lot. I understand that. But if I click the Binance link that it's pointing to, the price is different than what's currently showing on GPT-4. So it's still inaccurate, whereas Claude just says, I do not have knowledge of that information. So both of these do fail in recency, in my opinion. It's also important to note that Claude 3 does not have the ability to generate AI images from my understanding, where GPT-4, of course, does have DALL-E 3 integrated into the multimodal platform, so you can generate images inside GPT-4. That is a benefit of GPT-4, whereas Claude 3 looks like you still cannot generate AI images. All right, so now I'm going to test its creativity a little bit, and what the prompt I'm going to ask it with is the following. I'm going to say, create an engaging LinkedIn post about the release of Claude 3 that would grab someone's attention. And again, I use LLMs for these types of prompts all the time when I'm trying to figure out LinkedIn posts for my personal brand or just social media posts in general, trying to get some ideation and creativity from these AI chatbots. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it this prompt here, and I'm curious to see what Claude 3 is going to have in store for its creativity. And again, I am using the free Sonnet model. I'm sure the Opus model would be more creative. So it says right here, due to unexpected capacity restraints, Claude is unable to respond to your message. So right away, that's a red flag for me. It looks like the capacity restraints are a huge issue already with that free Sonnet model. I've only asked it about 2 prompts so far as I'm trying to provide examples for my video. So I'm glad that actually came up, as that is a major flaw. Just looking at this right away, is that free Claude 3 Sonnet model for free does have capacity constraints. Looks like bad capacity restraints. So I'm actually going to try this one more time and just see if this will work for whatever reason. I wouldn't figure a prompt like this would take up to, and again, I get the same error message where GPT-4, I asked it the same prompt and it provided me with something decent. I was just looking to see how it would compare with the Claude 3 model. So it looks like I can't provide any more examples on this account for the free version of Claude 3 Sonnet. So that means I'm going to have to purchase Claude 3 Opus and make a more dedicated tutorial. So I do not get those capacity restrictions at all. So just kind of capping off this video here, Matt Wolf, who's a respected creator that I follow in the AI space, he's very bullish on Claude 3. He says right here, Claude 3 is really, really good. I was super impressed with the even free Sonnet version of Claude 3. The paid version built a working mini game in a single prompt. Sonnet built the game in 2 prompts. ChatGPT struggled. Both versions did better than ChatGPT at summarizing long documents. ChatGPT did outperform both versions of Claude with a complex problem that I threw at it. I'm making a video that will go live, so I'll be sure to watch that video. He said, spoiler, I think a lot of people might step away from ChatGPT Plus in favor of Claude 3 Sonnet, the free version. Now, just looking at this quick example that I did for you guys in this video, these capacity restrictions, I don't know if it was just for me, let me know in the comments below, but they're out of hand for me. I don't understand how I give it 3 or 4 prompts and then I get this capacity restrictions limit flag and I can't use Claude 3 Sonnet anymore unless I create a new account, of course. So I need to look into Claude 3 Opus, and then that will help me make a better distinguish between the $20 a month GPT-4 versus the $20 a month Claude 3 Opus. But from my experience, I am not very impressed with Claude 3 Sonnet because of that capacity restrictions flag that I've just received multiple times. And maybe I'm using the tool wrong. Who knows? I mean, maybe it's a user error for all I understand. Matt Schumer, who's another creator I follow, said, feels like Claude 3 release was strategically timed, knowing that OpenAI probably can't release a better model later today, given the Elon Musk lawsuit. And if you're unfamiliar, Elon Musk did file a lawsuit against OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman last week, saying that they abandoned the original company's goal of creating artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity rather than simply making gobs of money. So just an interesting lawsuit here, and I thought that was pretty funny that Claude 3 release was strategically timed, according to Matt Schumer. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. No one knows unless you're involved behind the scenes. But that's it, guys. Again, this is Ryan with AI Insider Tips. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of the release of Claude 3. I hope this video helped you out in some way. I want to apologize for the restrictions limit. I was not expecting for that to happen on this video, and I just wanted to test some quick prompts. But I hope this video did provide value of giving you a brief overview of Claude 3, how it compares to the other language models currently available. Be sure to look into this article for more details. And guys, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel at AI Insider Tips, I would truly appreciate you guys doing that. Be sure to like this video, leave me a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on Claude 3. Have you started using the free version? Have you upgraded to the paid Claude 3 Opus version? I just really want to hear your guys' thoughts about Claude 3 in the comments below. And again, this is Ryan, guys, and I hope you all have a great day.